Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a very special Tuesday interview. It is the last week of 2020, and what a year it has been. And I couldn't be more pumped to have Joe Puthur, president of Mortgage Coach, on today's interview. What's up, Joe?
Hey, Dave. Hey, everybody. Fun call.
So I think a lot of people, if not everybody in the Mortgage Coach community knows Joe, but he is our product visionary. He leads the product team. He helps sell Mortgage Coach. He helps run Mortgage Coach. Joe does just about everything at Mortgage Coach. So it's cool to have him on today's call. And then we also have Jacob Gibbs, leader of our dev team, support team. Jacob wears more hats than I even know. What's up, Jacob?
Hey, good morning, Dave. Thanks for having me on the call. And thanks, everybody. Looking forward to closing out 2020 in a good way here.
Yeah, and I think probably everybody also recognizes Jacob's voice. He has created a lot of the training content in the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel, and a lot of you guys have interacted with Jacob through support. While he's not the front line of support anymore, a lot of folks know Jacob. So we'd love to make this super interactive. We're gonna try to make it so probably 60 to 70% of this call is going to be, what did we get done this year? What are we proud of? What did we do and why did we do it? And then we're going to have probably 20 to 30% of the call, what's coming next year. We're going to demo some new features that are going live. Well, I'll let Jacob and Joe let you know when some things are going live in the product, but we're going to do it that way. We do want to make this interactive. So if you have comments, questions, whether you're watching this in Zoom, put them in comments. If you're watching this in Facebook Live, put your questions down below. You've got the three guys that are running the technology platform of Mortgage Coach here. So Joe, anything you want to kick things off? I've got a few thoughts I want to share, but anything you want to share from a vision casting perspective before we get into it?
Listen, as you said, Dave, we love the community that surrounds Mortgage Coach and the top producers and the new originators that join us every week in events like this to learn how to be their best, to grow their team and grow their brand. And so I think we just have so many achievements as an industry this year. When you think about our resilience, when you think about what we've done for families, folks on the front line, folks that need to take advantage of their financial situation and home ownership to make really important decisions. I think that it's just important to realize that the role of the mortgage advisor has never been more important than it is right now today. And so I take a lot of pride in what we've been able to create, the stories that we've heard from producers all across the country, and how we've helped education make a difference for their borrowers on a daily basis. And the feedback that we really get from this community is just outstanding, especially folks here we've got joining us here in a holiday week, closing out the year and still investing in their education to learn how to be the best with the technology they have access to. So we've added just a ton of incredible things to the platform and have just an amazing list of things for next year. And happy to share some of the highlights with you and the team today.
Right on. Jacob, anything you want to add to set the table on just what 2020 has brought from a macro perspective?
Well, I think obviously 2020 has its challenges, right? But I think for the most part, we've found as a mortgage industry that there's some strength. We've found that people are wanting to continue buying. There's been a huge refi market lately. It's just as bad as 2020 has been, the industry itself has stayed pretty strong. And that's thankful to all of you. You guys are all consultative mortgage advisors, and that's changing the industry. We can see it happening, especially in a time of pandemic like we're in right now. So just thank you to everybody on this call. Appreciate your leadership in our community.
Yeah, there's no doubt, guys. So when I think of 2020, I think of a year of just massive digital transformation. Let's face it, guys, cash has cooties now. I literally think we'll look back on 2020 and historians will say that is the year that killed cash. Mobile transactions are rapid. At the beginning of this year, I couldn't get my wife to use Apple Pay. And now if I don't use Apple Pay, she's like, hey, why aren't you using your Apple Pay? We get a percent or two, and I'm like, oh, okay. Grandma loves Zoom. And I think that, there'll just be some things that are never the same. While I do think when we get past a post-COVID world, yes, there will be in-person meetings between local referral-based mortgage professionals, But the digital game and the virtual game is here to stay. And the other thing that I think is here to stay, and I know is here to stay, is that advice is king. When it comes to differentiating yourself at the point of sale as a professional referral-based loan officer, you need to go beyond the transaction. You need to go beyond, here's your rate, here's your fee. Giving a fee worksheet is bad service compared to a total cost analysis. So those are a few things. If you're listening to this and you're like, to me, 2020, the biggest change was X. And as a loan officer, as a mortgage professional, put that in comments. I would love to hear anybody that's listening to this, like what, and it could be something I just said, but what is the biggest shift, the biggest change that you think 2020 has brought to you as a mortgage professional? Put that down below. Joe, anything else you want to share from a macro perspective on change before we get into Mortgage Coach product and specific platform enhancements that we've made?
Well, look, I think that the receptiveness of just folks from all ends of the socioeconomic spectrum to interacting online, having a conversation through their devices, getting information to make decisions really has changed over the course of 2020. When you think about many of us that have families and what home education has been, and really this idea of consuming information at a distance and being instructed at a distance, just the receptiveness has been accelerated by leaps and bounds. And that really offers an opportunity for the local financial advisor, as well as the brand that has a ton of individuals working in a corporate type of call center or office. The customer experience simply in a digital manner has opportunity for everyone if they have a fantastic digital strategy. And in my view has always been that the strategy has to start with advice, because if you're not providing transparency and direction in the loan process, you're not going to be able to position the best fit products for the customer. I think one of the things that has come out of 2020, and you'll see in 2021, is just product innovation, whether it's non-QM solutions, whether it's targeted loan products, whether it's a higher understanding of products that are available with the help of MI, or even VA loans. I mean, the statistics on how few veterans are taking advantage of the benefits, et cetera, all offer an opportunity for digital education to play a role in change. And so I just hope that every originator is looking ahead at the opportunity of how they can use advice to get more customers, both for purchases and refis. A lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, really, really good points. Another key takeaway, guys, is higher education has gone digital. And not just in the mortgage industry. I mean, we're talking college. My son, I'm an empty nester this year, so it's a big year personally and professionally, goes to Syracuse University, and it was a hybrid experience. While he did live on campus, he did the majority of his classes virtually. And I do think that virtual educational experience has gone digital. It's going to continue to stay there. Super proud of what we've done with our YouTube channel. We've got big plans for 2021 and how we're going to make the content in both our Facebook group and our YouTube channel easier to consume, easier to get the right information at the right time. We'll talk about that in a little more detail. Jacob, anything else you want to add before we get into product and platform?
No, not a whole lot here, Dave, but I'll definitely chime in as things come up.
All right, cool. Well, I'm going to say one more thing and then have Joe do some vision casting on what he's most proud of the product team. But guys, 2020 is the year where we made a refinance for a loan officer to deliver refi options faster, easier, and more valuable to the consumer through the integrations with Closing Corp, Optimal Blue, other fee automations. It's actually faster and easier for a loan officer to deliver a refi quote with Mortgage Coach than it is a fee worksheet. And it's absolutely more valuable from a consumer's perspective, so that when they're getting that refi, they're not just seeing the monthly payment, they're seeing the difference over time. And the loan officer was able to, like, one of the most popular strategies in Mortgage Coach was, hey, what if you did that refi and you took that monthly savings and you reinvested it? How much equity could you save? How much faster could you pay off your mortgage? So we're really proud of that. And we're proud of the fact the number of total cost analysis, we almost had 1 million TCAs created in the Mortgage Coach platform. And we almost had 3 million. We might even surpass 3 million views. So that means when families are getting advice, They're clicking on Mortgage Coach. Millions of families in 2020 made their mortgage decision with Mortgage Coach. And that number is only getting higher. And some of those 3 million were realtors. Realtors, they're referring to a borrower. The loan officer is creating a TCA. They're giving it to the family. And the realtor, the financial planner, the family members that are helping support that family, they're getting advice from Mortgage Coach. So guys, that couldn't have happened without you. We thank you for all the TCAs that you created, all the emails and texts that you sent out to get Mortgage Coach out there. So Joe, anything else high level before you and Jacob start sharing some of the things you're most proud of?
No, again, we help countless families, and we're really proud of that. And I think the lenders that we serve and helping lenders provide this advice faster has been just a part of the platform's innovation this year. And speed is key. Many of you have more demand than you've ever had before. You have more innovative products than you know how to offer. And how do we make sure that you can illustrate that conversation in such a way that gets you the commitment faster, allowing you to service more clients or have more time in the day for yourself. So I think we've made some leaps and bounds to make that possible. And, you know, Jacob and I, you have a few items that we would highlight to make sure you're aware of them, to put these enhancements to use for you and your workflow and for your team and your brand. A lot of our innovations are things that you can put to use right after this call. So Jacob, I think we should start with strategy templates.
Real quick, before we start with strategy templates, I want to ask the community, I am currently writing a LinkedIn article to share what were the 10 most viewed and most valuable videos in the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel. So if there was a video that you got the most value from or that you liked the most, please share that. You know, we've got over 50 of you in the Zoom community right now. Harrison, thanks for your comment. He said, you need to be an expert, provide guidance, not just fulfill loan requests for the borrower. So I think that was answering the question I asked earlier. Thank you, Harrison, for that. But guys, if you're in Zoom right now and you had a favorite video, it would really be helpful for me as I'm writing this article to showcase the top 10. I want to know what you thought were the most valuable, what you thought were the most valuable for you. Put that in Zoom, put that in Facebook. And, you know, Joe, why don't you and Jacob start going through the list and I'll add some color.
Yeah, I love the community interaction. But creating presentations faster is just absolutely important. And so how do we get these strategies, some of these strategies that are complex or that have a number of loan options directly in front of the customer? And how do we help you use our automations and integrations that Dave talked about to get certain strategies in front of the customer faster? And strategy templates really provide that gateway. And we've made real enhancements to that entire component of our solution. So now that you can add strategy templates from a number of different sources. So Jacob, why don't you walk the team through how they can put these to use right now?
Sure. Thanks, Joe. Are you seeing my advice engine on the screen?
Absolutely. Yep.
All right, great. So the strategy templates tab is something new that we added in 2020. And the primary reason behind this is you've always been able to put together templates for your fee templates, for your product templates. But until the strategy templates came along, you couldn't put together most multi-scenario templates. That's what these are. These are, I have 3 scenarios I like to compare against each other on a consistent basis. I want to make sure I don't have to do all the data entry for it every time. So you've been instructed to create some strategy templates to make life a little bit easier for you. And what you can use these for is when you tap on them, you can copy them to a new client, you can edit the template, but this is really the speed factor, right? You can copy this to a new client and now you've got a kind of a pre-built set of scenarios that you can just make minor alterations to. Now, one of the enhancements we made to this particular feature is that instead of only being able to copy it to a new client, now you can lay it over the top of any existing client. Now, this is really important for when you consider how you interact with files that come through the automated tab or files that are just not, you don't have a lot of information on them yet. So for example, you know, you've got a file with just some very basic stuff on it. You just know how much they're generally looking for. You don't even know what kind of products you want to show them yet, but you're like, you know what, this guy, you know, just from my talking with him, he mentioned FHA. Let's show him an FHA versus conventional. Well, I don't really know anything about this, but I do have an FHA versus conventional template here. So I'm going to lay that over the top. And what it does is it pre-builds out the template for me. So those same factors that I had in my strategy template get mapped over the top of this file that I'm working on right now. So this is the point where you can really save yourself a lot of keystrokes. So get used to using these strategy templates, fine tune them so they're your own. There's no limit on how many strategy templates that you can have. And you can change any existing record into a strategy template by simply toggling the switch on the first screen. Is this a strategy template? Go and find a borrower that you thought you did an excellent job on a presentation for, copy that presentation so you don't affect the original, change that one to be a strategy template, you're good to go. You can use that from there on out, either as spawning a new one or laying over the top of one. So Joe, I'll pass that back to you for the next idea.
Yeah, well, I mean, go ahead, Dave.
Hey, I just wanted to throw it out to the community. If you're using this feature, what is your favorite strategy template? Do you have a strategy template that you use the most on that? Harrison said, could you provide more strategy templates to start with? The answer is yes. We will put some links down below. I'll put them in the Facebook group in comments where you can learn more. So I would say we're highlighting things here. We're not necessarily teaching you how to do things. We're just giving you a breadcrumb to it. So I will go to our YouTube channel. I'll do a search for strategy template, and I'll share a video in comments that will provide more training. And it looks like Kelly said that she does a lot of rep versus own strategy templates, which love that, Kelly. I think that's going to be a big winner in 2021. Joe?
Yeah. So again, I think that want to make sure that you heard one of the key pieces here from Jacob, that you can apply these strategy templates to any record and you can turn any analysis into a strategy template. These are two major enhancements to the strategy template approach. A lot of feedback from our user community. And this really creates a new workflow opportunity, which we really want to make sure we talk about the second big enhancement this year, which was the automated tab. So you see that drop down that Jacob had with all the strategies you can apply. Our automated tab, which you can find in all of the Advice Engine access points. So that means from your Android device, from your iOS tablet or phone, at any point you can see this automated call out. And this identifies how many new automated records you have, that kind of blue total number that you see there, from any various sources that are plugged into Mortgage Coach. Today we have 26, and that number continues to grow. You can expect a lot more nameable partners in 2021. And as you think about every opportunity to talk about fees, terms, ownership costs in a way that illustrates a long-term or short-term financial benefit to the customer, you're going to lean on a total cost analysis. That's not just at the point of quote. That's during the loan conversation through the LOS process. That's post-closing, how you're communicating to somebody as a mortgage under management. All of those opportunities have integration points to technology you might be using. Dave mentioned a few partners, but your CRM partners, your PPE partners, your LOS partners, some of your third-party marketing or lead partners, all of those folks can integrate to Mortgage Coach. And even if we have folks that aren't part of our 26 today, we offer them a ton of access points. So if you've got partners you'd like to see added, certainly reach out through the support team and mention the partners, and we'd love to talk to them. But what you see here is the analyses that were created by these partner sources. So there's the logo of the partner to the left-hand side, and an identifier again when that presentation was created for you. So that getting that automated presentation created from these different points, you have this instant access. And one of the ones that this year has just created incredible success for our customers is Simple Nexus from a point of sale perspective. They deployed an integration that really created a wonderful borrower experience because everything is synchronized. The moment a customer starts entering a loan application in that point of sale, a total cost analysis is instantly shown to that customer and updates as they go through that process. And so that's been shown to really accelerate pull through and address fallout issues when people are applying for loans today. Another big win in the automated tab category is our CRM solutions, and one of them being the MOS from Total Expert. We saw folks doing an automated mortgage review and having just incredible pull through, 6.5% to 10% on just a hands-off campaign. Those are folks that turned into applications and later turned into closed loans. Those are just incredible pull through. But all of our integrated partners have pushed the envelope. Jungo creating custom integration points by being able to run campaigns based on lots of data in Salesforce, or again, our integration with Homebot that Dave mentioned earlier. So I could spend all day on integrations, Dave, and Jacob, our automated tab, but all of these partners flow to this endpoint. You can take action on an analysis right from here.
So
Dave, anything you want to add on that capability?
yeah, so a couple things, guys. One, I put a link to our partner page in both channels. People always ask me what's the best CRM, and I always say pretty much the same thing: the one you use and the one that integrates with Mortgage Coach. So if you want to find out who the best CRMs are, go to our partner page. As far as most of our integrations require your company to have an enterprise relationship with us. So if you are with a company, and any size company, we have enterprise relationships with brokers. We have enterprise relationships with small credit unions. Any size company, we would love to have an enterprise relationship, and you would have all our integrations. The only two integrations that work for the broker edition. So for anybody who's listening to this call and you signed up for Mortgage Coach individually, that is Homebot and Jungo. The Homebot integration has been very well received, significantly added. I'm a big fan of the Homebot platform because it helps that local referral-based mortgage professional go beyond the transaction, be valuable. Use Mortgage Coach at the point of sale, use Mortgage Coach for the annual review, and then use Homebot to continue to deliver value in how that family manages the wealth of their real estate. So guys, there is a link to that. If you do have questions, put your questions down below. But most importantly, tell your branch manager, tell your regional leaders, tell your managers, we want Mortgage Coach integrated. We want it to be easier for us. And we also want it to be automated. That's another thing most loan officers don't know, is that you can have an annual mortgage review automatically sent to your consumers, whether you do that with different CRMs that have that integration, or whether your company uses our APIs to do that yourself. That's a feature that the best loan officers in America are taking advantage of. And we want you to do that, either yourself or through the companies that you work with. So remember, guys, comment with questions down below. Back to you, Joe.
Sure. Hey, Jacob, before we talk about the next couple of enhancements, anything you want to mention on the automated tab?
I would just say that one of the things to note is that this little number here in blue tells you how many you haven't accessed yet. If you see this number growing like you see on my screen right here, it means you're falling behind. So make sure to take action on these. These are files that either you've triggered to pass across from something like Optimal Blue, or things that are happening on your behalf. So like the Simple Nexus, the Total Expert integrations. These are presentations that can be borrower facing, and you need to make sure you're putting a video on it, or you're adding some color to it, add some customization to it. I mean, these things are going to do great to get your phone to ring, but remember the consultative approach. Try to get in there so that you can control the experience that your borrower gets and customize it just a little bit so it makes it a little bit more friendly for them.
Jacob, really great point. If you don't mind clicking on that button too and just showing the little blue dot next to the record itself, you can see right next to source, if it's got a blue dot on it, means you have not taken action on it. So it was created on your behalf and you haven't added additional personalization to it. So great indicator. Again, it's on all the devices, so you can see it at any time of day, at any place, and take action and update it. And that leads us to another enhancement that we added to the community and to the solution, and that is the ability to set some default video experiences. So as Dave mentioned, video is just so important in terms of being able to deliver a personal and tailored experience in today's market. When people can hear your tone, when they can really take a look at your tenacity, your understanding of their situation, they think of it as a visual voicemail. It doesn't need to be overthought. Personalized video is just incredibly casual and important, but video in and of itself needs to be prevalent in the way that you look to communicate. And one of the things that's happened with Mortgage Coach is that we've introduced all of these automated opportunities. And so some of our producers on a particular day might have 100 automated reviews going out on their behalf. And so we don't want to create a lack of video content just because you haven't had the time to add that personalized video yet. So if you go into your settings, you go to your presentation settings, we added the ability to set a default video. Now, it's really important to understand that this was added with a caveat, and that is you have to really motivate yourself to not lean on the crutch of the default video. As soon as you're interacting with the borrower, as soon as you know the borrower is going to see that presentation, you want to update that video content. But we did not want an automated report going out that didn't have at least some introduction of yourself, an opportunity to make sure to explain what the report is, why this is part of your experience, what they can expect to hear from you. And you can do that in a very generalized way by coming into the settings and adding a default video. As soon as you set this, that means that any TCA that you send that doesn't have a personalized video on it, this is the video that will play. And so that capability was been asked for by our community for some time. And now with the advent of having automated presentations, it really made a ton of sense to ensure that no TCA went out that didn't have a personal video experience, at least on a high level. Dave, this has been something that you've heard a lot of feedback back, has helped people adopt video faster, has it make that first introduction to TCA video by making an introduction video of themselves. Well, what would you like to add about people using personalized video, but starting to use the default video too?
So guys, here is the reality. Video has been talked about now for 10 years in the mortgage space. And we've been a leader and an advocate that video is a competitive advantage. 2020 marks the year where video is no longer optional. If you want to be a local referral-based advisor, you have to have a video strategy going forward. And so we want to make it easy for you. We want to make it native. You know, we're big believers that, hey, sometimes it makes sense to just send a text video natively on your mobile phone. You know, we see bomb and email video grow in the community, and that makes sense. Sometimes we want to put a video on an email. But when a family is making a mortgage decision and they're looking at options, they're referred by a realtor, you got to make video native within those numbers. You got to give it to them in a platform. And that's what Mortgage Coach is. So this is a cool new feature. Not going to repeat what Joe said, because I think it's important that every time a family gets those numbers, there is a video experience. Again, if you want to be the leader in your local market, and you want to be that local referral-based expert, you need to do that. And I agree with what you said, Joe. You know, customize it and personalize it. When the family hears their name, that creates connection. When the family hears you repeat back what their goals were, that shows that you listen to them, that you care about them. That triggers the trust. And remember, guys, like when I interviewed a loan officer that closed 100 refis in 100 loans in a single month, Kevin Carlson, he said the only way I was able to do 100 loans in a single month was because I was able to put a video on a total cost analysis, and it either accelerated sales transactions. Sometimes I didn't even need to get on the phone with someone because the video and the numbers were so compelling. They just texted me back saying, let's go. So video is also a major accelerator of your loan production. So I could go on, but guys, we're just trying to make it easier and better for you. Those are my thoughts, Joe.
Well, thanks for the color, Dave. And again, I mean, having a default video when you're sending out hundreds of presentations behind the scenes for some of our enterprise and automated customers really makes a difference. But do not personalize. You have to take the opportunity to personalize. And Jacob, if you wouldn't mind just jumping back into the TCA for 1 second, just remember we added the, in the advice engine where you add the video from any of the editor screens. So if you just opened a record, you know, guys, the add video is on every single record when you open it and start building the presentation. So if you went from the automated tab and opened a TCA, if you went from a strategy template and applied and copied new and made a TCA, that video button is right there. So again, if you've set a default video, as soon as you click this record video, that's going to replace it. So when I talk and Dave talk about personalization, it's just making sure that take the time to replace that video. But every single person on this call today could go into their settings and they could create a default video right now so that no TCA was absent of a video experience. So I think this is a really cool enhancement. And again, Jacob, love to see if you have any feedback or things to add before we move to the next item.
Well, I think my only other piece of feedback would be you want to consider what this video should have on it. Remember, it's going to be used for any TCA that you don't currently have a video on it. So you want to keep it very high level. But as Joe said, he gave you some nuggets there on the stuff that you can add. talk about what you're doing as part of your loan process, why you're incorporating this total cost analysis into the loan process, cross-sell your partnerships. There's a lot of really valuable information that you can put in front of a borrower before you've even talked to them. So you want to consider that. Keep it short, keep it under, I would say under about a minute and 20 at the most. And just have something short and sweet that welcomes people to your type of origination. Basically, here's my shop, here's what I do, here's how I'm going to treat you, here's why it's important to me that you get the best possible mortgage for your situation. Those kind of things can really help out a lot. So I would encourage you, everybody, get a video on there for your defaults. And then as new files come in, as you're creating new files, make sure to update that with a personalized one. It really is going to seal the deal for you.
Hey, real quick, I want to add a little bit of content on that. I know when Jeremy Forcier creates this, it's going to start with, I believe good people deliver great advice. And that's why he's going to say something that completely differentiates him about what he believes around being an advisor. So think of this as your value proposition. You're differentiating with your beliefs, and you're letting that consumer know that I'm going to provide you advice. And you're making it look like every other fee, you're going to say things so that when they get a fee worksheet from other loan officers, or when they're, looking on Zillow and they get rate quotes, that just looks like, not all the information. So just make sure this is your value prop video. Also, I put a link to the interview I did with Kevin Carlson, how to make refis easier and faster. The month that I interviewed him was the month that he closed 100 loans in a single month. So he talks about that, how to use Mortgage Coach platform and video to go faster and easier. Also, someone had asked, what is Homebot? I put a link to learn more about the Mortgage Coach Homebot integration. So there's a link to that for anyone that doesn't know what Homebot is or doesn't know how our integration works. Back to you guys.
Yeah, thanks.
And by the way, John, yes, Mortgage Coach does integrate with Total Expert, and you can automate your annual reviews. So let your management know that you want that integration, John. Thanks for, again, guys, keep the comments coming.
Great. So in the spirit of personalization, part of the foundation of the total cost analysis strategy has always been to personalize based on people's financial goals, how they can use a home loan strategy in their long-term plan. And so we've had things like helping you illustrate the freedom point for quite some time. We've had things like being able to show the difference of investment accounts and savings accounts, and how you could take the different advantages of each option and showing that benefit over time. But we're really proud to be introducing a really detailed debt consolidation analysis, and one that took a lot of feedback from many folks in our community, and really is going to allow all of you to take someone's home equity position and illustrate how they can use that position to address debt that they're carrying right now. And the types of debts that we can illustrate with our debt consolidation engine is where we spent a lot of time to make sure it had the versatility to really show the strategies that you have in mind and that are important emotionally to your customer. And so that giving you the opportunity to customize based on percentages and fixed amounts, and really taking into consideration a lot of the best practices that we've heard from so many of you. And so, Jacob, if you'd like to take it from here and kind of give a quick tour of what folks can expect as soon as they see the debts button and start building their first debt consolidation.
All right, great. Thank you, Joe. So debt consolidation it's actually been in beta for a couple of months now. We've had a lot of users, a lot of members really hammering on this and making sure that it lines up with expectations. So we're actually going to be releasing this as a New Year's present for everybody. So come New Year, you guys will all have the ability to do these debt consolidation proposals. And we'll get some video content out there for you as well. But just to give you an idea of where all this magic happens, once you get to the goals section, you're going to have a new button here called debts. Right now, you already have the pay off my debts checkbox, but it only asks you for the amount that you want to pay. Come New Year, you're actually going to see this debt button, which will allow you to enter their detailed debts. You can see it'll also incorporate any mortgages that are entered in the assumption section here. But the idea behind this is you're going to collect their liabilities, and then you're going to show them some options on what they can do with those debts. So when we get into our new product options, at the bottom of each new product option, you can manage what happens to the debts. In this case, I'm just paying off the mortgage. I'm leaving their other debts. And you can see I have a couple of different options here, like refining the mortgage and the credit cards. So what does that look like when I come in here? Well, it means that I'm going to roll in this credit card. I'm going to pay it off and finance it in. So little operators like this allow you to show some very unique situations. And let me show you what the output looks like. Now, the debt consolidation is actually part of the total cost analysis from beginning to end, which means that the numbers that you're seeing here in the short-term interest and MI savings, these include the debt interest now, if you've included a debt consolidation. And you know that you've got a debt consolidation on one of these guys when you see this new link at the bottom of any of the loan products here. And when you pop that open, it'll actually show you the entire debt distribution. It'll show you what the interest value differences are between the two scenarios, what your monthly payment differences are. Then it breaks down the individual debt. So you can see, okay, in your current scenario, you won't have paid off this credit card yet. On this new scenario, we're actually not paying off any of the debt. So we're just refinancing your mortgage. We're going to save you $40,000 in interest. And then as we go to these different other ones like refi plus credit cards or consolidating all debts, you can see when you get into the debt consolidation, the interest savings becomes even greater and the monthly payment savings becomes even greater. And now this opens up the conversation for, well, what are we going to do with this extra $1,000 that I'm saving you every month, Mr. Borrower? Do we want to throw this back into your mortgage and pay it off even faster? Or do we want to start building you some wealth assets? Let's put this in a wealth vehicle and see what you can gain over time from taking this $1,000 and socking it away into a money market account or something like that. But what becomes really powerful is you can actually show them what they're doing with those debts, and then you can take that cost savings and do something with it. So pretty powerful stuff out here. There's a lot of different ways that you can use the debt consolidation. It is in its first iteration right now, so it is only for refinances or free and clear mortgages. So keep that in mind. We will be coming out with a purchase version of debt consolidation later in the year. So we've been taking a lot of feedback from our beta users, and we are going to make that functionality available as well. For right now, this is a refinance or a free and clear type of module. So
Hey,
Dave,
Jacob,
I see you're waiting to say something. Go for it.
Yeah, would you pull up the actual debt consolidation with the graphs and charts? So guys, this is a FinTech innovation. There is, in any industry, whether it's the insurance industry, financial advisor industry, there is no better report. Financial advisors call us all the time saying, oh, would you create a mortgage coach for us? Life insurance agents, hey, would you create a mortgage coach for us? Guys, you have an advantage over every other financial advisor in America, but you got to use it. Here's the other skill. While I do think the first half of the year is going to continue to be awesome refis and purchases, at some point this year, MBA is predicting that refis are down 40 to 60%, purchases are up 10%. If you want to be a client for life loan officer, you need to be able to give a family who owns a home a financial makeover in 15 minutes or less. And guys, you can't do that at the highest level without Mortgage Coach. And now we've made the debt consolidation loan, which, guys, I don't know if you know this or not, but there's never been more equity than there is right now in America. And there's never been more consumer and student debt than there is in America right now. So this is a powerful tool. You want to be a client for life loan officer, become a master of doing financial makeovers for homeowners in 15 minutes or less. We gave you the ultimate tool to do that. Someone asked about training. Guys, we do training every day of the week live, and we have thousands of videos. So all the core training will be in our YouTube channel and our support page, so you can get how to do things anytime, 24/7. And then live every single day. I put a link to the calendar in the group. Jacob, would you go real quick to the Advice Engine and show people where they can get our training calendar within Mortgage Coach Advice Engine?
So you would actually go right here. There's an MC calendar and it's in your toolbox. So if you've got kind of a smaller screen, like a laptop that's not as wide as this, you may have seen that your toolbox might be collapsed. You get down to a certain size and it'll actually collapse in. Just click on this little editor arrow here and it'll open up your toolbox. And then this is the Mortgage Coach calendar. You can access this directly from within the Advice Engine on any record.
And And John, thank you for the question. We will have a video or two, or maybe more, in our YouTube channel on this. So yeah, that is coming. And remember, guys, every day of the week, every Monday is beginner's training. So if you are not at least an orange belt, you haven't created 20 TCAs, Monday, 9 o'clock live, we're killing it for you. Every Tuesday, think of it as sales leadership. I'm interviewing someone amazing, whether it's an author or a top producer. In January, I'm going to be interviewing some of the most successful top producers in America throughout January. So don't miss a Tuesday call in January. Every Wednesday, it's black belt training. So we are focused on turning you a black belt into mortgage advice. And yeah, you can be assured that this coming Wednesday, we will include a debt consolidation training on that. Every single Thursday, think of us as like the Apple Genius Bar. For those of you that have an Apple device and you want to get an appointment with a genius, every Thursday, we've got a mortgage coach genius doing a live call at 9 o'clock, answering any and every question you have. Like usually that call is less than 50-ish people. My guess is in January, it might be a bigger group, but we answer your questions. We teach you how to use our technology. And then guys, every Friday we do a mastermind. We are focusing the month of January and February on modern mortgage advisor training. So we're going to just train you on how to be a modern mortgage advisor in a mastermind format. So 5 days a week, live training, and it's only going to get better. Keep your questions coming. Back to you, Joe.
Great. Well, again, I think the debt consolidation should be fundamentally a game changer for many originators, and just being able to have a clear conversation about debt consolidation strategies in a way that's never been before possible. I can't wait to hear the feedback in the real world from you folks. And again, hope that you are able to just help more families with this incredible enhancement. So debt consolidation, I think this is a perfect transition to what a lot of folks are asking about, which is training. And Dave, as you mentioned, we have a lot of incredible in-person opportunities. We have opportunities that we offer through our toolbox that you just saw, where we show the calendar and other interactive sessions. But we've done a lot within the solution to make training just an extension of how you use Mortgage Coach every day, how the solution can help coach you to the best possible outcome. Strategy templates were one way we've done that, but we've also introduced in-product learning. And this is an area where you'll see a lot of continued enhancements throughout 2021 as we add more content, whether it's content that we're providing, our partners are providing, or even your own companies and institutions that are able to create their own trainings and add them. So webinars will be wonderful augmentation, but also just the idea of maybe your organization has an innovative down payment assistance program. Maybe your organization has CRA goals or other particular products and solutions that can be offered to the market that requires some additional level of understanding of how to best illustrate. Debt consolidation is a good example of this as well. So in addition to the webinars and sessions that Dave mentioned, you'll see enhanced debt consolidation trainings and other strategies trainings throughout the year being added to this dropdown. When you click one of these dropdowns, the actual advice engine experience changes a bit. So additional text is shown, video content or other handout content might be included in these particular call out boxes. They might include questions and answers and multiple choice feedback that will allow some gauging of understanding of the content, as well as feedback that you can provide so that we can make, or other folks can make, the trainings better. So being able to train at your time, at any time, in the moment, is really an important part of the Mortgage Coach strategy overall, because when you think about the most profitable loan products, they aren't always the products that look the least expensive in a monthly payment. And the products that are best for your customer aren't often the products that necessarily look the lowest monthly payment. And so to be able to properly illustrate these unique strategies, you need to be able to see and learn how to show the TCA in a various light. And so the in-product training is just an incredible enhancement. And again, being able to offer our enterprise partners the ability to load their own trainings, I think, is a huge step forward. Connected to this training and in-product content is our gamification. So Dave mentioned orange belt and red belt and black belt. The concept of making sure that all of you have feedback on your journey from good to great is part of what we've done with gamification. And it's not just about badges and about the achievements participants themselves, but really what they mean behind the scenes, because the statistics don't lie. If you get to be Grandmaster TCA status, then you are a top producer in your market. You are crushing it, because people that provide that level of advice don't have to worry about market ups and downs. They have a customer base that is engaged for life because you have achieved trusted advisor status. But to go from good to great, to go from that white belt to that grandmaster, there are some pain points that you need to experience. And it starts with your first 20 presentations and making sure that you put your full foot forward. Do they have video? Have you used the live functionality? Have you highlighted content for your customer? And really making sure that you move through that experience. And we have made sure that the gamification solution gives you that feedback. So as you add video to the presentation, you earn recognition, not just on your total TCAs. As you do partner presentations, you'd probably be surprised to learn a large portion of our community doesn't deliver co-branded experiences. And oftentimes it's because they just haven't disciplined themselves to send their first partners those first co-branded presentations. So the gamification really outlines an incredible success plan. And since the introduction of gamification, we've seen, and in product training, we've seen the ability for loan officers to just understand our product faster. And so I would just put the challenge out to the folks here on this call, and for you that know your peers in your office, ask them to look at this leaderboard and look at it yourself and really make sure that you're tracking your progress to good to great. But if you do it, you will definitely experience the lift of results that Dave advocates so hard for every single week. So Dave, I know gamification and product training have been a huge passion for years, for the last year, for us to just add to the platform, and you've gotten great feedback.
Well, my passion is about reshaping the mortgage experience for families in America. And we can only do that by millions of families going from a fee worksheet, rate, payment, cash to close, not enough information to make an informed decision, to a total cost analysis, rate, payment, cash to close, cost over time, strategies to build wealth with real estate. That's the only way the mortgage coach mission happens, guys. And the only way that happens is if loan officers become a black belt at mortgage advice, if they actually become better from the inside out. And one thing I know for sure, loan officers are competitive. I don't know anyone that doesn't want to be a black belt at something. So for any manager that's listening to this, for whether you're a branch manager, you're a regional leader, you're a head of production, getting your loan officers into mortgage coach is the pathway to modernizing them. And it's the pathway for them to become that loan officer of the future, that advisor. So gamification helps them keep score individually, and it helps you keep score collectively. So Jacob, if you could click on that little box real quick. Here's another thing. I'm going to be interviewing Dave Gallegos, the one that shows all the belts, Jacob, just to the right of TCA's created. Dave Gallegos is just a great example of he's gone from branch manager to he owns his own company. He has had a history of bringing loan officers into the company, into the industry that never had any experience and becoming super professional. One of the things he's doing right now is he's hiring brand new loan officers that have no mortgage advice. And he has put a platform together where they advance their belt every month. So he's literally got a path that a brand new loan officer came from being a waiter, has great human skills, can become a black belt in their first year. So for top producers that are already doing a lot of business, you can become a black belt in 3 months. You can become a black belt in 6 months. And so I'm really proud of the team. I think what we've done at Mortgage Coach is not just an innovation for the mortgage industry, it's an innovation for how human beings learn to use technology. So guys, make sure you embrace it. If you're watching this right now, I want you to log in to your product or to your platform. I want you to click on settings. Jacob, real quick, I want everybody to do the math on a really important metric. Close that. Look at how many TCAs you've created. Look at how many videos you've done. If that's not at least 50%, you're not performing like America's best loan officers. America's best loan officers are actually putting videos on 80% of their TCAs. And our platform norm is in the 20, 30-ish%. So I want you to look at that number of TCAs created versus video. Just drag your mouse over the videos created. Guys, it's got to be at least 50%, or you're behind. And then I want you to divide TCAs by views. If it's a 3-to-1, very average community-wise. If it's 10-to-1, you're a top 10% performer. I interview a lot of top producers. When I interview them, I always have them go to the settings. I comment on video divided by created. We talk about video versus views. But the most successful loan officers, they're really good because they use the right words. They position the TCA. They loop in the realtor. The family member is sharing it with other family members. They're rewatching the video. So get your number over 5-to-1. So if you've created 100 TCAs, you should have at least 500 views. If you've created 100 TCAs, you should have at least 50 videos. So do the math, scorecard yourself. And as you plan for 2021, try to get to that point where you are one of America's elite black belt mortgage advisors, where you've created over 300 TCAs and you've got a good blend of video versus TCA and shareability. So guys, we're in the last 10 minutes. If you do have a question, get it in quick because we're going to run out of time and we do have a hard stop. We won't go over, but get your questions in. Someone had asked about discount. The only way we discount Mortgage Coach is enterprise relationships that make multiple year commitments and buy it for all their loan officers. You know, if someone makes that investment from the top down, one, we just got to train. We don't have to sell Mortgage Coach. And two, they have integrations, they adopt it, it goes better. But here's what I recommend. Email me if you are looking to get the broker edition of Mortgage Coach. It's only $120 a month. It's a month-to-month commitment. And here's the reality. You are paying for Mortgage Coach right now if you don't have it. You're losing at least one loan a month. So do the math. How much is a loan worth to you? That's what you're paying for Mortgage Coach right now. So email me, Dave at Mortgage Coach. You can also go to our website and buy online. I'll put a link in a minute down below. So Chris, thanks for the question. But we only discount for corporate large relationships where we don't have to sell. We just have to train. But we'd love to have you on the team and we'd love to help you close more loans. So shoot me an email at Dave at Mortgage Coach or just go online after this and sign up. So Joe, 8 more minutes. What you got?
Yeah, no, and we've got definitely a couple of more items to end the call with for exciting take action right after the conversation. So hopefully everybody saw how in-product training and gamification can make the learning easier. When we talked at the beginning of this call about the market in 2021, being able to help everyone have results through advice faster is part of the Mortgage Coach promise. And so we're constantly looking for ways of how to get a fully completed, accurate TCA out to the customer with as little data entry or as little requirement on your part as possible. And that means more and more data sources, more and more integration points. And we added to our family of integration partners on our partner page that Dave mentioned, just a number of new categories this year and a number of additional categories for 2021. So one of them that's been highly requested is MI pricing. You know, MI and mortgage insurance in general has gone through an innovation and the introduction of risk-based pricing from all the providers at this point. And so in order for you to be able to illustrate the savings that tailored MI gives, you have to be able to work off of more than a rate card or an assumption. And so we've created direct integrations to MI providers to allow you to fetch an accurate risk-based analysis price that would then apply to the TCA that you're illustrating. And so today we support Arch and MGIC. You'll see more providers added in months and quarters to come, but this gives you a really good opportunity to just pull in that accurate MI quote. So being able to add more and more sources to get this data added to the TCA is part of our commitment in 2021. So in addition to MI, we're adding more third-party fee service providers. So you heard Dave mention Closing Corp. In addition to Closing Corp, we're adding Lodestar and a handful of other providers as well. And so the fee type of provider data is very similar to the MI type of data, that this concept that as I'm putting together an analysis, especially one that might have been started from an automated source, might have some data for a TCA, how do I finish it? How do I make sure that it's the most accurate TCA possible? And third-party fees are some of the most challenging fees to calculate, things like transfer tax, et cetera. And so many lenders have already established relationships with fee providers like Closing Corp, Lodestar, in the future Ernst, et cetera. And so we at Mortgage Coach know that that's a number of data entry points that we can save through integration. So by introducing a Lodestar integration where you can click the button, you can see those fees come back. And right now on Jacob's screen, all of the fees that are in blue are fees that were returned back from that integrated provider. And I would like to note some of our very large lenders have their own fee engines, proprietary engines that we also are able to pull from and populate into Mortgage Coach. So when you're a sophisticated enterprise that has API connectivity to your own proprietary platforms, those are things that can push and pull to Mortgage Coach in a quite a beautiful and harmonious way. So things like pre-populating fee data becomes an incredible benefit to every originator when you look at the speed of an analysis and ensuring that every piece of savings possible is illustrated properly. So our fee engine additions, our MI engine additions, I think are just great additions to reduce data entry time. So Jacob, anything you'd want to mention on these new points of integration?
No, not really, Joe. I think actually you covered it all there. I mean, we do have two integrated MI partners right now. We will be covering all 6 as soon as we're able to. So right now it's just Arch and MGIC, but you can actually price from either or both by simply toggling between the two. Complete the form, process through, and then it'll return you a rate either, like in this case, they wouldn't do a cash out refi loan for me, but if this was a no cash out, it'll return my monthly borrower rate, or it would pop it into the single premium if you wanted to do a single premium. So kind of keep this in mind. These are enterprise only integrations, as is the Lodestar and the Closing Corp integration. But we did add a couple of things in the toolbox that I wanted to show you real quickly. If you haven't seen these yet, this is available to all members, not just enterprise, but you have the OB mortgage market indices. This just shows you the average rates of all the locks that happened yesterday for different types of loans. It's really great to be able to rely on this type of information when a borrower is just hammering you on rate. The other thing in our toolbox now is the Rate Watch Lite. So if you haven't checked this out yet, I'm going to go ahead and just push it up to the top so you can see what it looks like. But the Rate Watch Lite is our Rate Watch chart just framed into the advice engine. So you can still switch between the UMBS or the Ginnie Mae. You can switch between the coupon levels, and you can switch between the output parameters. So if you wanted to see it at a longer time span, you could here. But just wanted to point this out for you. If you haven't seen this yet, make sure you enable it as part of your toolbox so you can immediately at a glance see what the market conditions are doing today.
Jacob, if you could stop sharing your screen, because I want to make sure you guys hear what I'm going to say over these last 3 minutes and before we wrap this up. And I'm looking at my stock ticker right now. And guys, you know, Zillow is currently got a $29 billion market cap, and they're in the mortgage business, guys. Rocket is a public company in 2020. It's got a $39 billion market cap. They're in the mortgage business, big time, and getting in the real estate business. Redfin, disruptor, $7.3 billion market cap. Fintech is here, guys. Mortgages are getting cool. Like, are you seeing more Rocket commercials? Do you think you're going to see less commercials from publicly held, well-funded fintech mortgage companies in 2021, 2022, 2023? No, you're going to see more. And then here's the deal. I've always been saying this is, guys, they're not your biggest competition. It's the loan officers that are becoming fintech-enabled professionals that are your biggest competition. So top producers. I released an interview today from Manny Corral, who's 60 years old. He is like the epitome of the hyper-local, pre-COVID, 90% of families came into his office. He's the epitome of that. He adopted Mortgage Coach this year. He's becoming fintech-enabled. He knows that's where the future is. Shant, who is the #1 loan officer in America, his team is going to do, I don't know, over 3,000 loans this year. I'm going to be interviewing him mid-year. he's adopting Mortgage Coach. His team is adopting Mortgage Coach. Guys, it's never been easier to be a fintech powered mortgage professional, but you got to play the game. If you're watching this and you're not part of Mortgage Coach and you're an individual loan officer, I told you how you can sign up. If you work for a company, you need to tell your managers, guys, we need to have Mortgage Coach integrated into our platform, our pricing engine, our CRM, our fee work platform, our automated fees, social survey, point of sale. Guys, we can do that for you. It's never been easier. Our goal, Joe and I, we want to, by the end of 2021, like we've reinvented the mortgage experience for a family. You know, the industry is already giving a link to take an app. We believe that when it comes to picking your loan, getting the right loan to achieve your wealth with real estate, it requires a dynamic link that has rates and fees over time, and it has a video. That's Mortgage Coach, and we are committed to delivering that for you. Joe, any last thoughts before we wrap up today's call?
No, just that remember, support's available. So for those of you that are already members, everything we talked about today, there's an immense amount of material to help you take advantage of it. For those of you that aren't enterprise version members yet, the transition to go from individual to enterprise is very easy. And we can just start with an introduction to folks on your team that need to learn the Mortgage Coach value proposition. And Dave and his group are happy to share that success and inspire the organization to allow us to turn these integrations on. So we've achieved a lot. We've got a whole list of additional enhancements that we could review, as well as I'm sure we'll have a similar event to talk about more things coming in 2021. But I hope everyone enjoys the debt consolidation solution here. And again, that we get feedback quite rapidly. So Jacob, huge kudos to your team for everything we covered that got released this year that really created a difference for all of our users and hopefully inspired some folks here as well. But Dave, I think we covered a lot today. Jacob, anything
we did. Jacob, any closing thoughts from you?
Just let's make 2021 the right year. I mean, we've all been through quite an interesting year. So let's start it off right. You know, get some strategy templates in place. So, you know, some of the questions that came through early on in the call, you know, how do I get more strategy templates? These are personalized for you. So, I mean, I can push strategy templates into your account all day, but they won't represent what you actually want to teach your borrowers. So the idea behind this, take action on it, go into one record that you recently created that you thought you did a really good job on a TCA. Go to the analysis screen, hit the copy button, copy it to a new product, and then flip the strategy template switch on that one. Now you've got a strategy template based on the last one that you did that was really solid, had all your fees, had everything on it. Start playing around with that and use that. I think you're going to find it's going to make a big difference for you.
No
Guys, and Mortgage Coach community, we are so grateful for you. One feature that we didn't get to cover, but we added a team edition to our enterprise platform. For those of you that use broker, we can't put the team edition in that because it's just too complex. It needs to be set up at the top. So again, if you're a big producer, you're a branch manager, you guys got to be on the enterprise platform because we're making it easier for you to collaborate as teams. We're seeing that. It's a trend, guys. It's not going to slow down. Fintech powered loan officers with teams, Mortgage Coach, we're adding that value. So thank you guys for helping us do what we love to do. Joe and I have never had more fun. I know Jacob's having a blast. Happy New Year to everybody. And I don't think, I'm not going to do the Friday call this Friday. So happy New Year's to everybody. This should be my last Mortgage Coach video of the year. Take care, everybody. We appreciate you.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.